have been rescheduled. Let's get your take on that, and then we dig into it.
Yeah, it's the technology parts, and I would have liked to talk about this tomorrow on Tech Friday, but we can still get into it today. I mean, it's the whole matter of it's the whole matter of INEC being compelled to turn over election data on BVAS to the parties that are suing for the election to be overturned, Labour and the PDP. And they said, that is INEC, that if they had to turn over BVAS data, it would affect their ability to reconfigure the BVAS machines ahead of the March 11th election. But what I don't understand, Omas, is reconfiguring it. I mean, what I don't understand is how this is affecting the March 11th election, because they're saying that if we have to turn over this data, we will have to delay reconfiguring the machines, and that will delay the election. They've not postponed the election to give them more time to turn over that data to the courts. And then after they've turned the data over, they now can reconfigure the machine. Because if you reconfigure it, apparently you wipe off all the information from the February 25th presidential election, which will impact the investigation of the data and all the items. But aren't these things supposed to be saved on storage? Because these BVAS machines, they're just tablets. They're tablets. It's just a simple tablet with a front-facing and back-facing camera and a fingerprint sensor. So it's like your phone. If you take a picture of take a selfie right now of yourself, that picture is immediately saved on your phone's storage. So, the whole thing with taking a picture of polling results and recording Omas' fingerprint and Omas's picture that he took as he voted, and then taking a picture of his recording his votes and then uploading it to a server is no different from you taking a picture of yourself and uploading it on WhatsApp and then sending it to people. So it just, I don't know what your own take is, but it just seems like these machines should have been configured with their own storage, backup storage, to save that data,
I know definitely this will form conversation throughout the whole day and for the next 1 week. But then from what they said, we've got, let's say, approximately over like 100,000 BVAS to reconfigure. And the courts just gave rulings just yesterday. And the argument is saying that within the time frame to Saturday, it's just so short a time for them to do the reconfiguring. How complex can this be in this age and time?
That is what I don't understand. It shouldn't be that difficult to be able to get this, to reconfigure this data, as you said, in this day and time, because all that we're talking about here, all we're talking about is pictures. They took pictures of polling results, and you just need to make sure that what the machine, or rather the polling results, match what was captured by BVAS, and and make sure they're in line. So anyway, look, we at Nigeria, we'll get there. We'll get there at some point. We'll get there at some point. Growing pains. These are growing pains. Is what this is.
Okay, just to let our listener know that they can be part of this conversation, because we would like to also get what your take would be on the WhatsApp number 0809-444-0981. So, Rotus, let's get into this other issue, because the business impact, I know whatever is business, it's your forte. So let's get into the first news we got yesterday of a marketplace, being set on fire with just how many days to the election?
Yeah, so I thought this was just, remember, I think Balogun markets, I think Ladipo, they've suffered fires in the past, last year. This led to a conversation around insurance, particularly micro insurance, because these businesses, they're in clusters, they're very close together. So a fire that starts in one will spread through and impact others. So I thought was just another accident, but it sounds there's some foul play behind this, where it seems like, I think this was in Ajigule, so it wasn't in the market now. Ikere,
yes, around the Ajigula axis, the fellow
yes,
Ajeromani
right,
area.
right. So I initially was preparing to talk about, insurance, micro insurance, the need to make sure that businesses are protected. Nigeria has a very low insurance penetration of less than 1%, and how business, but then later, I now heard that it's possible there was foul play and it was meant to be voter intimidation or something to that effect. Which the election season it just doesn't seem to be healthy for business at any scale. You have to, first of all, is the fact that the whole country shuts down, and people are not allowed to move around as freely as they like. Businesses are impacted normally. Presidential election impacted, business, and now you add the voter intimidation. Certain set of people are threatened and not told that if they vote a certain way, their businesses will be impacted. And now you've postponed the election by one whole week, because we thought we'd just get this over with in 2 days and everybody move on with their lives. But now, by extending this by one extra week, it is like, I don't know if it'll happen, but it's possible that you will continue to see more acts of voter intimidation, especially for in businesses in the informal sector, and that will further impact them. So it's another full week of, because the campaigns now have been extended. The campaigns were going to end on Thursday, or is it Friday? Sorry, 24 hours before the election. But now, just businesses will be more jittery. You will still have more of this for another week.
Now, when you tie that up to the scarcity of cash right now because of the Naira redesign policy, and link that up to what the impact it already has on patronage for small-scale businesses, then link up to these whole election. Ordinarily, we should generate commerce because people would print flyers and do it. Why is it in the reverse for us?
Yeah, the understand that some banks have started paying out old notes. I understand that started from either the Supreme Court last week, Friday. I know there were some issues Monday, but I think as of Tuesday, the banks started paying out notes, old notes. Now, the issue is whether or not those notes will be accepted by businesses, because I went to purchase something yesterday and the business still told me, I went there on Friday, I went there again yesterday, like, well, I'm still not taking old notes. So yes, to your point, when you add the cash issues, I'm waiting to see our first quarter GDP figures. I see a slowdown in GDP because you add fuel scarcity, you add cash scarcity, you add the elections as well. There's going to be definitely a pullback and a negative impact on business activity.
But ordinarily, why is it taking the CBN this long to as much as comment on the judgment and say, give the directive? Because it seems like banks and businesses are scared of receiving this money because the CBN is yet to comment.
Yeah, so from what I heard, the directive that was given to the banks to pay out the old notes was essentially the CBN acquiescing to the Supreme Court. So they didn't necessarily put out a statement. They just apparently just give banks the go-ahead to disburse those old notes. So that's, I guess, the CBN aligning with the Supreme Court. But the issue is most of these old notes were already out of circulation. And I was hoping that the Supreme Court would have given a directive to print more new notes, because now you're going to have a system where you've got old notes and new notes circulating at this, so at this point, it's a matter of who will accept what. I mean, we know people accepting new notes. Will they accept the old ones? That is the question.
Okay, so that brings us to the postponement on businesses now. Why? So how can we get past this? Every 4-year cycle, when we go for elections, businesses must take a dive down, and because of this, how can we really go around it?
So we need to be able to conduct elections while people are going about their lives. I mean, what are we really talking about here? We're talking about going to a machine, taking your fingerprints, and then thumbprinting a paper, folding the paper, and putting it in a box. That's it. I've lived in other countries where elections were taking place, and I was in America during when Obama was in 2008, when Obama was running for office. And I was living in New Jersey. I was working in New York at the time. I went to work. Everybody met up for work. People went to go. I wasn't eligible to vote, not a citizen, but other people went to vote. They came to work. In fact, some people were at work. They took a lunch break, went to go and vote, came back to finish their work. And other people went out to go and get lunch. They went to eat. They went to do. Not everything was just normal. It wasn't anything. So we need to get there. We need to get to where security operatives can do what they're doing, watch over the ballot boxes, but everybody else go to work and let life move normally, because this is just, it doesn't seem sustainable to keep doing this every 4 years and impacting business.
Okay, there's a message here for you, Rotus, and it's from Benga Kamwa, and he's still typing as we speak now, but let's quickly throw this one in. It says, this Naira redesign policy is really a cash confiscation scheme. Why am I paying 6,000 Naira to collect 5,000 Naira? It's making people poorer and frustrated while killing businesses. Benga Kamwa. Rotus was saying.
So he has a point. The issue has been supply. Unfortunately, not enough notes were in supply, and I think there was a measure here to stop vote buying, which some people said is that the CBN's purview, and I guess they wanted to constrict cash and not enable politicians to buy up votes. But then there was a consequence, and the consequence was, like Benga is saying, cash scarcity, to where you had to use Naira to buy Naira, and businesses were impacted. So that's something to consider as well. Lots of lessons to be learned from this.
Okay, so we are good to go now. So let's just close up with some of the messages here we've got from Michael Onyekwere, who says the Nigerian system is reached so much inefficiency across the board. Business and individuals continue to bear the brunt of these inefficiencies, and it goes on. I also see a Shewun there also typing. We say thank you so much for the messages, and Rotus, this is where we must leave the conversation for now, but hopefully you'll come back Friday for a tech edition, right?
Certainly. So tomorrow, Tech Friday. Thank you so much, Omatseye, and thanks to everybody who sent their messages as well.
Have a great day.
Shout out to Stanbic IBTC.
All right, so Rotus, have a great day. Bye.
All right.